Hello, Cathy here, and I'm with my friend Nick.
Cathy, hello, always a pleasure.
Nick is back. So Nick was last on this podcast for Geostorm. Yes.
Yeah, the amazing film that was Geostorm. So we're hoping for a repeat tonight. It's going to be amazing.
And we are going to see The Favourite. The Favourite?
Yeah, which actually is supposed to be really good.
Yes.
So we have actually got expectations on this one, haven't we?
And apologies in the recording because I am 5 foot and Nick is...
quite a bit taller than that.
So I'm extending the recorder up and down as we speak, so I'll speak for a minute and then I'll just put it back up to Nick again. Quite the height difference, I would say at least 1.5 feet. Last time we did this, we did it in the car, so it worked much easier. So yeah, we're going to see The Favourite, which I don't know anything about except that Olivia Colman just won a Golden Globe. But we're so topical, we'd already picked this movie before that happened. And Nick really wants to see it, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I love Olivia Colman. I just think the thing I know about Olivia Colman that is all the other actors, she's a bit Meryl Streepy, that everyone's just like, oh, she's just in a different league.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about seeing her. But I don't know much about Rachel Wise. She's in it, isn't she?
I don't know.
I think she's in it. And Emma Stone, who I love. So, yeah, all-female ensemble. I'm excited.
Cool. And is it about a queen or something?
Yeah, so it's about... I think she was the last... I'm not a historian at all. But I think it's about the last queen before it was, like, the last of the Stuarts, I think.
Right.
But she might have been gay, or there were rumours, or... Yeah, it definitely involves a bit of lady-on-lady loving.
Yeah. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, so it should be good.
And we're going to a cinema that I love, that Nick's never been to, which is the Light Cinema. And I've promised Nick reclining chairs, alcohol, and lots of food.
Yeah, alcohol was all I needed to hear, but yeah, I'm there. I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, so apologies for the dodgy recording. Also, Nick's getting the true cinema experience because...
We're late.
We left the house after the movie's supposed to start and we're basically now running. So welcome back, Nick.
It's great to be here.
Bye.
Bye.
It is important to make new friends in court, is it not?
You're so beautiful. Stop it, don't you mock me. If I were a man, I would ravish you.
You have become close to Abigail.
She is a viper.
You're jealous.
You must send Abigail away.
I do not want to.
Let's shoot something. Sometimes it is hard to remember whether you have loaded the pellet or not.
I must take control of my circumstance.
Row! I'm on my side. Always.
Favour is a breeze that shifts direction all the time. Then, in an instant, you're back sleeping with a bunch of scabrous whores.
As it turns out, I'm capable of much unpleasantness.
So we're back. It's freezing.
I'm a little bit drunk.
Yeah, a little bit drunk. Not me. And it's a Tuesday night and Nick's gone for it and I'm very impressed and I wish I'd done it.
I won't let a thing like a Tuesday slow me down.
So Nick, what did you think of The Favourite?
I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I expected. I really enjoyed it, but the women that on the way out went, well, that was weird. All in all, thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you?
It was weird. That was what I thought. And I
Did
have
you?
to say, I'm so sorry because, and it's my fault, we were like 5 minutes late and missed the first couple of, only a couple of scenes, I think.
Oh, we walked in on boobs.
Yeah, we walked in on boobs. We were right straight into it. But I thought it was really funny. Really weird humour.
Yeah, but it was a very I thought it could have been a BBC, not a movie. I saw it as a BBC thing.
Yeah, it was bordering on being a spoof, but just managed not to be a spoof. The humour was so strange.
But it was also desperately sad as well.
It was really sad.
Her in particular, the character, which again isn't a spoiler because if you, I'm sure if anyone knows anything history, it's really sad character, lonely.
And I didn't know anything about the history, so there's my ignorance. And
she had 17 miscarriages or stillbirths
so sad, yeah.
And she's obviously desperately
very unwell.
Well, she's disabled, doesn't she, really?
Yeah. And so when we meet her, and very early on, she's got problems with her legs and physically reminded me, funnily, of a younger version, basically, of the way Judi Dench played Queen Victoria in Victorian Abdul last year. Did you see that movie?
No, I've not seen it.
Very similar performances, actually. And I think Olivia Colman's brilliant. I always think she's brilliant in everything. But it's interesting that she won Best Lead Actress, because I would have thought this was a complete, I don't know how to put it, but like kind of a triple bill essential performance. I thought her, Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone were all the stars.
Were they nominated?
I don't know.
Because it reminds me of The Hours, like there's 3 really strong female performances, but they were all nominated, although only Nicole Kidman won. But,
right, yeah, I mean...
Rachel Weisz was...
She's amazing.
Yeah, so she plays Lady Marlborough, who is married to Lord Marlborough, who's off fighting the French, as you do. So she's basically running Queen Anne's court.
And running Queen Anne.
And running Queen Anne, yeah.
Both in the bedroom and out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
And that was such an interesting dynamic.
It was
like,
so
as soon
interesting.
as they were alone, she'd turn around to the Queen and be like, "You silly old cunt."
yeah, they were throwing the C word around, weren't
they? The language was really interesting. And then Emma Stone played kind of somebody who used to be a lady, fell from grace, is now a servant. I don't know if she's based on a real character or not.
I don't know either.
So clearly we don't know anything, but just taking it as essentially, I took it as a fictional movie, because I'm presuming most of it's fictionalized. And I thought the characters were so complex and really unreadable and really fascinating, and you couldn't pigeonhole any of them, and you might think one minute Emma Stone's the young ingenue, next minute she's really manipulative, and actually you don't ever know where it's going. And I like that, because more often than not these kind of female characters are put into like a villain or a manipulator or a seductress, and they were all of everything.
It was really hard to root for any of them, wasn't it? Because they were all in their own ways. I mean, they were very well formed.
They were so good. And then like visually I find it really interesting.
The music
was amazing and really tense.
I found the music really put me on edge.
There's like do do do, that sort of music. And then like visually, which is really unusual in cinema, there's lots of low camera angles. So, and I don't know what the style is called, but like if you can imagine an unflattering selfie angle.
It was, wasn't it?
Like weirdly low angles. And then this weird camera trick, and again I don't know what it's called, where it's kind of like a fishbowl lens. And it was almost like circular. Did you think that was the cinema screen because you'd never been there before? It wasn't the wine.
It was odd. I thought that was odd.
Yeah,
but,
weird, and kind of added to the kind of nauseating sense of like tension.
The claustrophobia of the palace, the sort of palace intrigue.
So it was really cool.
I also love the dynamic with, you got all these men in the most ridiculous wigs.
Oh my god, did men used to I guess I've seen pictures of men dressed like that.
Preening kind of just, and
they were so camp.
But I love that it was actually Rachel Weisz's character was just sort of barking orders at them, and they were like, so it was like a double whammy, because it was like, it was a woman telling a load of men what to do on behalf of another woman, which I actually really liked, that they just were like, well, better do it.
Set in the past are never like that. And they're all preening around with like getting bigger wigs by the minute. Like Nicholas Holt's really funny in this.
He was brilliant in it.
Like it took me a minute to recognise him through all the makeup. And then again, we're not at any spoilers on this. They tell it visually with lots of like chapter names, which I like, and they were silly names. And there's lots of ill health going around with the Queen, like including, I mean, they essentially implied she was bulimic. As
the
well
Queen,
as,
no, I think she had something wrong with her. I think it was
but
she was
kept
vomiting
eating,
out.
Though.
Yeah, but I think she was a bit. I don't know, but to me it felt a bit like fuck it. I just don't care. I'm so ill. I'm just going to ignore it and carry on. Yeah, I've got nothing else to make me happy, which she didn't. Really.
Yeah. And then Olivia Colman playing her is so good, because she's like 1 minute perfectly nice, next minute she's like screaming at people, but not in a pantomime way.
No, she
like,
did
you
it well.
felt her anguish,
yes,
didn't you?
Yeah, you totally did. But they also managed to get a bit of the humour in it. But it was more funny. It's like, oh god, those poor people being shouted at. I wouldn't want to be them. As opposed to like, it's funny that she's
I kept laughing out loud though, and there's some tense. Like really tense scenes, and now we're not on spoiler street, and actually I don't know if we need to go to spoiler street on this, but there's a very tense scene when Emma Stone, kind of towards the start of the movie, is somewhere she shouldn't be, witnessing something she shouldn't see, and she's trying to get out of that situation, and you're just dying watching her because you're thinking, if I was in that situation, what would I do? I would stand there and never move.
So are we not going to spoiler street?
Well, do you want to go? We can go.
I don't know.
Okay, we should go to spoiler street.
Okay.
Yeah, let's recommend the movie. I think we both
definitely recommend it. I think maybe, like I say, I'd happily, you'd enjoy that just as much on DVD.
Yeah.
But if you're on the fence and you want to go and see a film, go and see it, because it is very, very good. And I thought Rachel Weisz was incredibly good.
Oh, she's so good.
She was really good.
Did you ever see The Lobster?
No.
You'd really like it.
You confused me because there were lobsters in that.
I know,
yeah, I saw those lobsters.
I was thinking that, she's amazing. The lobster, she's a very unusually, unexpectedly comic actress. I think she's got very good comic timing.
Loved the comedy in this. I thought it was really well balanced. I thought it was very well done.
It was good.
But the whole thing is it was very claustrophobic and sort of palace intrigue. They captured that really well. And it's the whim of one person. Was just because they're just towards the end. So the idea is that Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz's characters are vying for the affections of Queen Anne. With just kind of just suddenly change your mind and be like, right, she's my favourite now.
I know.
And it's just like, okay, well, you're fucked then, because
I know,
you're suddenly out of favour.
And just the whims of the court and the whims of all these men who are being sent to France. So now we both recommend, and for a Tuesday night, that cinema was packed.
It was packed. It was such a nice cinema.
I would say an older female audience, yeah?
Yeah, I would agree.
Glad you like the cinema, my favourite.
It was a really nice cinema.
We did lots of reclining, it was very nice. Now we're on Spoiler Street for the favourite. And for me it was all spoilers, because what was historical and what wasn't, I don't know, because I didn't know any of it. But you knew some about the about the main love interest, Sarah.
Yeah, and I knew that they had pet names for each other to try and make it less awkward. They called each other Mrs. Morley and something. Yeah, which was the idea, was so they don't feel as uncomfortable. I didn't know she kind of ran the court. I don't know if that's real.
I briefly, when you went to the bathroom, looked it up, and apparently that is real.
Oh, right.
And what about, they're very sexually explicit in their letters and the way they speak to each other.
Yeah, they weren't messing around, were they?
Yeah, I enjoy that. And, I really enjoyed we watch Emma Stone's character, becoming very wily early on to the fact that they're a couple, and she immediately just works on seducing the Queen, and I was like, you go, girl. She knew what she was doing. And she worked it. And
she was like, she was working her way out of her fall, wasn't she? She'd obviously, something had happened and she wasn't, so she was like, I'm going to get back up into the graces.
I love when she started coughing and said, oh, I must have caught a cold when I was collecting herbs.
Yeah, for your legs. Yeah.
And then she's like, the Queen gets back from court, and Emma Stone's just naked asleep in her bed, and she's like, oh, sorry, I must have fallen asleep in here. It's like, wait, why are you in my bed?
It's what we call upward management, Cathy. She was very good at managing upwards.
It was so enjoyable.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think, in terms of spoilers as well, the ending I thought was really sad, the way they were kind of the Queen and what's her name again, the lady who you mentioned who ran the Blenheim House.
Marlborough.
Her name now. Yeah,
Lady Marlborough.
The Queen and Lady Marlborough had such a kind of toxic, abusive relationship that they're both constantly trying to get one up on each other, and in the end Emma Stone, it was quite easy for her to intervene in the relationship and make it worse. But then it was quite sad to see their friendship, it implied they'd been friends since they were very young children.
Yeah.
To see that all fall apart so easily because they're so proud, and then Rachel Weisz finally writes her the letter, and Emma Stone just throws it in the fire.
Yeah, and she's waiting for the letter to come. And then, that was so sad.
That was sad. And then Emma Stone just got darker and started torturing rabbits, and that's when I went, wait a minute.
Yeah, but I love that she wasn't. I like the scene when she was drunk and she was throwing her glasses and wine glasses, not her spectacles. And I thought that was great because it made her a bit more interesting. It wasn't that she just, she really got into it all and got back to the power and got back to the booze and the crowds of people and everything. She was really enjoying it.
Yeah, she was loving it.
And I just thought that was quite a smart decision. It didn't make it really two-dimensional.
And what about with her husband? She's horrible to him. Okay, I'm sorry, but I won't go into details. But the scene on the wedding night with the husband and she's talking and they're in bed together, it was just made me laugh so much.
A hand job does not a honeymoon night make. No, but, it was really good. I really liked the men in this because they were for a change, there weren't any. They were all kind of comically.
Yeah, they were ridiculous, weren't they?
They were all kind of ridiculous, but in a kind of a nice, enjoyable way that moved the story forward as necessary.
They were such background.
But there was such background noise. But at least they weren't horribly unpleasant. But there was kind of a couple of strange jokes around rape and stuff that I didn't. What? And then they'd be gone again.
Yeah. And I guess that's maybe a sign of the times and how they would have spoken. And then, finally, and it was a very artistic, arty movie. The final shot of kind of Emma Stone on her knees and Olivia Colman kind of holding onto her hair and all the rabbits. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, I thought I'd had a stroke or that someone had spiked my drink or something. But yeah, they.
I enjoyed it though.
Was that to sort of reflect the the claustrophobia, like you're trapped now. This is your life. Like this
I think
is,
so.
and you can't get out of it because
Yeah.
there's no good way out. Like,
And and I think it's almost, because we arrived a little bit late, but I think it was harking back to a scene that we walked in on at the start where Olivia Colman was like shouting at Rachel Weisz. I think, and I think it's like to Emma Stone now, this is your life. You're
Right.
completely like under this queen. You clearly don't love your husband, and this is it now. Because, ironically for her, getting rid of Rachel Weisz is the worst thing she could have done, because now she's just stuck with the queen on her own.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was trippy though, that last scene, and I really enjoyed it. And all the rabbits are like the queen's children scrabbling around, and like it was all. And I think the queen saw her kind of torturing the rabbit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that too, and
Yeah.
that was and that's why she wasn't happy. No one was happy. It was like, it was just
Worst case
everyone was,
scenario.
like everyone sort of ended up in a not great situation. But again, that's life. Like that's life,
Yeah.
especially back then. Like it was also grim.
Yeah, it's like this. I mean, like the initial scene when we saw Emma Stone originally getting her own bedroom, like that was brilliant for her, and then she ends up like in this amazing kind of, she's like getting £2,000 a year from the Queen, which is a lot of money back then.
Oh, clothes. I thought Rachel Weisz loving her outfits.
Oh yeah, she looked
Whoever was
amazing.
dressing her.
Yeah.
Also, Cathy, I've come to an important realization. I think I just want servants that I can just treat horribly and like go and get me things. And
I love when they just walk by someone and go, "Don't speak to me." I'd love to say that when I'm in a bad mood.
you can also
Don't-
blame them for other things, like where is it, idiot?
And like, don't look at me, don't speak to me, and go and fetch me a doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. So if we can make that happen, that'd be great.
Well, that would be your payment for coming on the cinema.
Oh,
I'll get you a
perfect.
servant. So thank you for coming on again.
Oh, my pleasure.
So
It
much
wasn't.
fun.
There's less to make fun of in this movie than there was with
Yeah.
Geostorm, but
Yeah,
it was a far better movie.
yeah. Well, borderline. No, I'm joking. It's funny. Like it's always like when Dave and I reviewed Bird Box last week, and we ended up talking for way too long about
Yeah, I
it.
had to turn the volume down on my my radio when I was listening to that.
Because the worse the movie, the more you have to say. Whereas this movie is like, yeah,
Go and
great,
see it for
yeah,
sure. It's
yeah.
like it's such a tonic from like the Avengers-y kind of
Exactly.
explosion-y kind of. It's like, no, it takes place in a palace and it's about three women and
And it's not your typical palace drama.
no,
No.
like I loved that about it.
And
so,
Olivia is the new Meryl.
yeah, she
So
is
now
the new
what we need
Meryl.
to see is them both facing off in some award ceremony where they're both nominated for something.
No, they need to be in a movie together. They need to like.
Yeah, that would
I
be
will see
amazing.
that movie.
Olivia's skyrocketed though over the last couple of years, hasn't she?
Yeah, but
I mean, obviously she was in Peep Show and stuff, but I think the combination of Broadchurch, swiftly followed by The Night Manager,
Yeah.
swiftly followed by, I can't remember, but there was something else really big she was in.
you can't hide talent like that for long.
Yeah, true. She's just catapulted, basically.
Yeah.
She can do anything she wants.
Deservedly
now.
so.
Yeah. And apparently Dave texted me to say that he put something on our Instagram around what he was going to watch. While me and
Let's
Nick,
find out.
Me and Nick ditched him to go to see The Favourite. I reckon we had more fun, but apparently Dave's done something on Instagram. Dave loves Instagram. Nick, do you follow us on Instagram?
Of course I follow.
do.
Of
At the
course.
cinema, good.
Yeah, at the cinema. Aren't you
Twitter?
also on Facebook, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
on Facebook, Twitter,
yeah.
and have you left us a 5-star review on iTunes?
Obviously,
Thank
because
you.
how could you listen and not do that?
Right, well, thanks, Nick, and thanks for coming. And now we need to go inside because it's really cold. It's hard work holding this podcast recorder.
Brutal.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you just look at me? Did you? Look at me!